For life.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, your mother's favorite podcaster, aka the Microphone Messiah, the current reigning, defending Bullycast podcast champion. I'm joined by Mr. No Days Off, BT Brandon Tan Goma. What's up, man?
Hello, everybody. We're here back on a Wednesday night, even though maybe by the time you listen to this, it doesn't really matter because we've all just been a part of your schedule for the past 373 weeks. But it's great to be back. It's been a hectic few days. Shout out Tyler and Haley. Congrats on the wedding, but we're back. Regularly scheduled Wednesdays, maybe. I don't know. Definitely next week, special WrestleMania preview next week. We're almost there.
It is the go home to the granddaddy of them all next week. But until we get there, we're here. So, Lida J was on the show, the Indica Enigma, the Sativa Psycho. What are your thoughts on the interview that happened?
It was cool, different than the one you did last week. This was a kind of the introductory one, the first interview you did with him. So, it was cool to get his background, another one of those COVID wrestlers who got into it post-pandemic, and seems like he's doing some good stuff on the indie scene. And once again, no hot tub time machine question. I'll let it slide.
Can't ask it every time. Gotta go away from it for a while. It's like, Taker was American Badass for a few years, and then when he came back as the Dead Man, we all loved it. It was great. That's kind of how this is. Okay. This is the American Badass run of the interviews. Don't worry, the Dead Man will come back and he'll be around for like 10, 12 years.
It's gonna come back and then never leave. But then it's going to get a little tiresome, and then it's just easier to not ask it. So then you'll go back to you'll do a hybrid version of it.
Right. All right, SmackDown, Roman and Cody segment. Kind of back to business, them hyping up their match for the heavyweight championship. Thoughts?
Yeah, like I said last week, I was very excited for this segment just because we're finally kind of getting back to what the whole thing is supposed to be about. It's the longest reigning modern champion of all time, defending his title against most likely the person who will dethrone him next week. But I thought it was good. They went back and forth. I thought Roman in particular really shined just because he hasn't been talking all that much. It's been the Rock show throughout this entire journey. So it's finally nice to get to see Roman's side of things. Maybe not as grandiose as maybe we thought it could be. But I thought it was well done. But with The Rock not there, it just kind of has shown in this. I thought in this segment in particular, like how big of a part he has been. It's like people are gonna be excited if and when Cody wins the match. But I think right now, Rock and Cody is like the real issue right now.
Oh yeah, especially after what we saw on Monday night. But yeah, so Cody sends the handshake. Roman doesn't want it. You see Solo and Jimmy pop up, and then you see Jay and the world heavyweight champion Seth Rollins pop up, and it's this great stare down of Cody and his two guys and Roman's two guys. But unfortunately for Roman, the guy that could dethrone him is accompanied by the person who hurt him the most, which is Seth Rollins when he destroyed the Shield, which we're coming up on 10 years in June, which is crazy. And then you have Jey Uso, the person Roman hurt the most due to this whole bloodline saga. So yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, I know what the look they were going for. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I wish you could have just kept it. I know maybe a heel living up to his word isn't the best thing in the world, but I just think kind of keeping it between Seth and Roman, I think probably would have been the best.
Cody and Roman,
whatever the hell I just said. But yeah, but they're trying to go for those cinematic moments as everyone's talking about on the internet these days.
Yeah, what do the kids call this? Cinema?
Yeah. That's what they say. Jade
Cargill, SmackDown official. You love it. You love to see it.
Yeah. Since Royal Rumble, she's she stuck around a little bit after the fact, and then she kind of went MIA, and then they finally gave her the full-on high package. I don't know what that means, whether we we'll see her this week on the SmackDown. Maybe she'll give a message statement. Maybe someone will interrupt her and they'll just throw her right into match at Mania. So we'll see what happens with her.
We shall see what happens with Miss Cargill. All right, Dirty Dom shows up on SmackDown in the match between Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio, which, I mean, we couldn't do this at WrestleMania. We only have 10 matches, so that's what, 5 matches each show? We could have.
Yeah, but those 2 main events are going to be like an hour long of 45
Well,
minutes worth of
no,
entrances.
I mean, last year, like one night had more matches than the other. You could have thrown it on night one real quick. It wouldn't have hurt much. Would have been like a nice like third match on night one, third or fourth. Even a
Yeah,
WrestleMania Sunday. Maybe WrestleMania Sunday has less matches, and this is one of them.
yeah, I mean, I wonder what the point was. I get it, Ray and Dom are gonna probably feud forever until maybe they finally get back together lovingly in like a couple years. Maybe Ray's retirement or something. But yeah, it is what it is. I think what was a little bit more interesting is maybe on Monday, jumping ahead when Rhea asked Dominic, like, why didn't you tell me about this? I could have been there with you. And then, he's like, oh, sorry, mommy. Maybe, planting a little bit of a seed of Rhea, getting a little bit fed up with Dominic, acting out on his own. So maybe I'm looking at that kind of a little bit more intently than what Dom is, if he's gonna. I mean, maybe it was a one-off. Maybe this is gonna lead to something at WrestleMania.
As a possibility, yeah. I mean, I'm so Dom may just cheat on her and leave. He may pull one of those. I see that happening. See
Possibly.
Dom and Liv. Where's Liv Morgan at?
Well, she's on Raw. She had the little thing with
Yeah,
Becky, and she wasn't. She
yeah.
was angry, and then she just kind of left. Just hasn't been back in like what, since 2 weeks.
Something like that. Something like that. But yeah, I mean, I would have liked to have seen something like this WrestleMania or whatever, but it is what it is. Outside the ring, Roman Reigns on the Pat McAfee show talked about a lot of things. Talked about Paul Heyman going to the Hall of Fame. Talked about CM Punk, and now once you make it to the top, you crying, you bitch, and you moan, and then you want to leave, and all these things. It talks about how him and The Rock could have been so momentous. You got the Cody and his crybabies, and what are your thoughts?
I saw some clips, didn't see like the whole thing, but Roman definitely looked very comfortable, just free speaking, and that's one of the positives of Pat in his show is he kind of makes guests feel comfortable and kind of just be themselves and kind of showcase the personalities more than they wouldn't do in other type of media ventures. But yeah, he just went all over the place. Kind of the most we've really seen Roman talk. I mean, I don't want to say ever, but we usually don't see him like in these like long form media interviews like at all. So yeah, it was an interesting thing he did. And just kind of just sprayed everywhere, and it kind of just shows maybe the new venture of WWE, the new look, and kind of how the work shoot thing is I kind of look down upon it, but just kind of like, in character saying some things that hit a little too close to home, maybe some might say, but it still works in the constants of building up matches and character work and all that other good stuff.
Yep. I mean, I loved it. It was fun. It was free flowing. Yeah, Pat McAfee can get the best out of you, man, and I really enjoyed this. Jey Uso was interviewed on another media source, and he says the bloodline may go on for another 3 years. Are people ready for that?
Everyone's, the whole bottom of the third or whatever the exact terminology was that Roman and Paul said. Um, I mean, they're family. So even if there might not be a official bloodline going forward, there still will be an Uso. There'll still be Solo Sikoa. Roman may go off to Hollywood or something, but he'll probably still linger around. So I would presume there might be, still some remnants of the bloodline for years to come.
Yeah, man. I mean, if we really look at the bloodline and everything that's happened, everybody's been made better from it. Roman, much a much bigger star than he was when we thought was on the top of his game. I mean, he's finally at the point now where they wanted him all those years ago. I mean, if you would have told anybody 10 years ago that Jey Uso of the Uso brothers would be a main event caliber star, people would have thought you were crazy. Main event Jey Uso, all this, the yeeting, he has people going crazy. Solo, I mean, decimated John Cena. He's not looked at as a rookie. He's looked at as a real threat. You have Jimmy, who honestly is elevated because Jay left. But no, I mean, he's really kind of coming to his own. He's really showing out his personality, and this whole Uso versus Uso thing has got some eyes on him. And then Sami Zayn, I mean, you look what happened to him. Went from the jackass stuff to main eventing WrestleMania, all because of the bloodline. KO, he was involved with the bloodline a little bit. He got made better. Drew McIntyre, the source of what he's doing right now, which is probably the best work of his career, is because the bloodline wronged him. And then you have Cody Rhodes, lost. Didn't think it was possible, but has become an even bigger babyface than last year going in. Everybody betters from interacting with the bloodline. So this, let it go on. And then Rock, what Rock did on Monday might be some of his best acting in a very long time. And he puts out like 3 movies a year. Everybody comes out better from being in this faction, being involved with these people. It's something marvelous, man. It truly is. Becky Lynch was on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. Says she has 2 months left on the WWE contract. Obviously, Becky Lynch is an integral part of WWE. Don't think she's going anywhere.
I agree. I don't think Becky will go anywhere. Obviously her and Seth are together, and not saying they have to be a package deal by any means, but I think she's in a good spot right now.
Let's be that podcast. Could we see Rebecca Quinn in AEW?
I mean, maybe. I don't know what her relationship is with Mercedes. Obviously it's Bailey and Mercedes is kind of the 4 horsewomen that are really close, and then kind of Becky and Charlotte are kind of like the other 2, to be honest. But maybe, I mean, it'd be very interesting just because that women's division in AEW needs some rejuvenation. Despite having some good individual talents, they still haven't done much. And Mercedes is one piece. You bring in Becky or Rebecca, whatever her name would be, and it would definitely influx more star power. But AEW has been on a spending spree as of late with Ospreay, Okada, Mercedes now, and they're going to add another probably multi-million-dollar wrestler to the books when business, I think, is going to be on an uptick right now, but similar to like WWF in like 97, they're doing good stuff now, but just business hasn't caught up with how the on-air product is right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to happen because Becky Lynch can stay with WWE.
Yeah, of course. Meek Mill has been invited to WrestleMania 40 by Triple H. Of course, they're in Philly. Did they hear me? Did they hear me?
We got voices. We got finally something sticks around here, and they ran a Meek Mill commercial during Raw, so he's gonna be there. I know the whole Diddy stuff is kind of overhanging all this, and
brother, hold on, we gotta, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a time out to talk about some real ish on this show. These past few weeks have been crazy. 2024 is a year of exposure. Started with Cat Williams talking about that stuff in Hollywood. We got this Diddy stuff. We got the Nickelodeon stuff. Man, I'm telling you, Disney is next. Your childhoods are all about to be ruined. We're about to find out some real crazy stuff.
Yeah, I watched that Quiet on Set Nickelodeon documentary, and as a true blue 90s kid who grew up on Nickelodeon and the Amanda Show and all that, and it does hurt to watch. But
dude, I went to the Nickelodeon warehouse last year. I feel disgusting. I feel disgusting for even being in there. Yeah.
And there's going to be another episode coming out on WrestleMania Sunday, I believe, on April 7th.
Now, obviously, this stuff happened a decade before, really 2 decades before, but still, to think you're a kid, you're watching this stuff, and all this terrible stuff is going on. Jesus, man. All right.
Anyways, back to Meek Mill.
Yes, back to Meek Mill.
I mean, it should be fun if he's gonna do like I don't know if not a full blown concert, obviously, but maybe he'll show up do like a
Dreams
song.
and Nightmares.
I mean, what'd you say? Meek Mill plays Cody out, and then someone does Roman's entrance. I mean, that'd be because Dreams and Nightmares, American Nightmare. It makes so much sense.
His father was the American Dream. This is his dream. It plays on so many different levels. I'll be there. I'll be in the building. I got it. I'll be in the building. So we can officially say I'm going to WrestleMania. Can I point at the sign too? Yeah. Do you want me to send you a picture of me pointing at the sign?
Yes, the people need to see Phillip point at the sign. I did. I unfortunately. I mean, I probably did point at the sign, but I didn't get a picture of it when I was at Raw. So, you gotta live it out for me.
Yes. All right. The Slammy Awards will return, I believe, WrestleMania Sunday at the WWE World or WWE Access or Experience or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I mean it's the Slammies. I mean I'm used to it being like an end of year thing, just kind of a random special show that they put on, at the end of the year because they don't really want to do anything major. But I mean it's the Slammies. What do I got to say about that? Maybe someone wins and they can turn it into something like Owen Hart did back in the day.
That is a possibility. I mean, you don't love the Slammies? You gotta love the Slammies, man.
I appreciate the craft. I appreciate everything those wrestlers do. But the Slammies might not be on the that high list of things I absolutely need to see and care about who gets what.
Wow. All right. WWE is set to debut a new show, WWE Next Gen, an all access docu-series. Set to make its debut on the Roku channel, launching on Monday, April 1st. First revealed in March 2023. This 8-episode show, executive produced by John Cena, promises to offer an unprecedented look into the lives of the next in line NIL athletes. Well, there we go. Excited to see that. Inside the ring, Obafemi is defending the NXT North American title against Dijak and Josh Briggs. Stand and deliver. I'm excited for that. I think it's Dijak's time.
Yeah, Dijak, he's super talented, been in the game for a long time. He has done much better work down in NXT than what he was doing up on the main roster. And I kind of hope they do something with him. I mean, NXT is one thing. I do think they can get something out of him on the main roster one of these days. I mean, you bring up Dijak and you're trying to line up some fresh heels for Cody to defend that championship. I think Dijak is someone you should take a look at.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, no, absolutely. I'm excited.
But of course, Roman's winning according to Phillip, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, duh, yeah, that's what's going on. You should know that by now. You don't know that by now?
We'll see. We're what? I'm not good with math. Sis, I
10
can do this.
days. 10 days.
There we go. 10 days. I was gonna get there eventually.
10 days because Roman Reigns has made 10 WrestleMania appearances. Duh. This will be his 11th.
Of course. How
And
could I
this
forget
is
that?
something we haven't talked that hasn't been talked about before we get into fan mail. We all talk about Roman breaking Hogan's record with Roman 1,300 something days now. Congratulations to the tribal chief. 100 something more days to go, and the record is broken. But he's already about to break a Hogan record in 10 days. Hulk Hogan has the record for the most consecutive WrestleMania or the most WrestleMania main events, which is 8. Roman Reigns' 8th WrestleMania main event will be the tag match on night 1. His 9th will be defending the championship against Cody Rhodes on night 2. At WrestleMania 40, Roman Reigns is going to become the man who has main evented the most WrestleManias in history. Think about that. You can't say Bruno because WrestleMania wasn't even a thing. More than Hogan, more than Rock, more than Austin, more than Cena, Triple H, Shawn. This is crazy. Taker.
Yeah, a little bit of a caveat with the two night WrestleMania main events this year.
But nonetheless,
even if you just count it as one, it's still tying Hogan. And I wouldn't be shocked if we get. I mean, despite Roman being much more of a part timer these days, he will still probably linger for the next 5 to maybe 10 years, and he'll be the Rock of the next generation, and he probably will at least get 2 more WrestleMania main events, I would assume.
He's getting 41. He's getting 42. Probably he'll get 43. I mean, this is never ending, man. Never ending. All right, who 420?
Who?
Mates, what a bloody great ending to Raw. One of the best endings in a long time. Almost wish it was the go home episode. And we question, will Cody even make it to WrestleMania? Oh, and then we question, will Cody even make it to WrestleMania? That's a good point. We'll talk about that in a second. Jack of all trades. I've been kind of on the rocks, or I've been kind of on here and there on the Rock's return, but that right there, the attack on Cody was so good. In the Rock, he looked so menacing, and he looked like he meant absolute business. Love the final boss. Love to see it. Love to see it. Let's get into it. Monday Night Raw. Yeah, so Cody cuts a promo. He does his spiel, and then Rock's not advertised. We're in Chicago. It's hot. It's a hot crowd. Sold out, which WWE has sold out the past 11 television tapings. When was the last time that's ever happened? Think about that.
Probably like maybe 2001.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Uh, they had 15,000, 300 in attendance or 800, something like that, between some one of those numbers. And yeah, the Rock's music hits unexpectedly. I love the new setup for Raw. That looked cool. I hope they keep it like that. And he's just walking down that ramp and whisper something in Cody's ear. And then later on, okay, first of all, what do you think of the Cody promo and then Rock showing up?
I thought the Rock or the Cody promo itself, I thought it was good. Um, just once again, kind of talking about everything and just kind of, doing his thing. The point at the sign thing, I kind of roll my eyes at. He did do a cheeky little all in or all out, all in reference. And he did like the whole Young Bucks and Kenny gun kiss like he used to do back in the day. So, once again, we're getting kind of meta Cody as we've gotten these past couple weeks. And I agree with the setup. I thought it was great. You can't do that every week because you're not going to sell out kind of that back half of the arena above the Tron. So, but I thought it looked cool. The Allstate Arena is a little bit smaller of a venue, so it's kind of not your prototypical like 20,000 seat NHL arena like they usually run at. But Rock comes out, unadvertised pop, which are always like the best pops, where it's just like a surprise rush, like we saw at CM Punk last time there in Chicago, or at Survivor Series. So I thought it was, a hot start to start off Raw.
Absolutely. And then the attack. I mean, that's excellent. I mean, Rock just beating Cody down all backstage, taking him outside. Now, when I saw that little ledge, I'm like, oh, is he going to throw him over? I think we all thought that, right? We all thought that, but no, that didn't happen. People think it's an Easter egg of the bus that just so happened to have Cena and Austin's faces on it. Thinking it's a little Easter egg for Mania. But yeah, I mean, leaves Cody in the pouring rain, bloodied. We had actual blood on WWE, bloodied up the weight belt, and Rock. I mean, just the look in his eyes. I mean, this is the best acting I've seen him do in years. Because Rock always kind of plays the same action hero, right? So this kind of like it felt different. Like you felt that.
Last week we talked about The Rock being a little self-indulgent and not being a heel. I mean, this week he was a full-blown heel, attacking someone from behind, bloodying him up. He was aggressive. It was everything we've kind of been asking for, and I thought it delivered immensely. It was a great segment. I was kind of thinking, the other day about the match itself at WrestleMania, the night 2 main event specifically, of like, oh, is Cody gonna bleed? Is he gonna like kind of do that what he used to do on like AEW and the indie scene of, bloody, and he wins the title. It's like this big emotional moment, and we got the blood on an episode of Monday Night Raw, something I would not have expected. And
yeah, I think I would kind of wish they would have saved the blood for if he is going to win the title. You kind of recreate all in. He's bloody and he's holding the NWA title. Kind of do that, but Cody and Seth have to win night 1 now, don't they?
well, going
Cody
back,
pins The Rock.
I am still saying Rock and Roman win night 1. Going to the truck conspiracy of Austin and Cena. I think night 2 we get the Bloodline Rules match, and it goes a little bit into Sting Triple H territory where we get like a whole bunch of nonsense throughout.
But the bad
Hopefully,
guys still won that one.
I know, but I'm just saying, hopefully we kind of get all that stuff out of the way, and then maybe we get just like a Roman, like the last 10 minutes is just a straightforward Roman Cody match. So it's not like Cody won because of John Cena and Stone Cold. He wins on his own, but just those two, whoever they bring out or whatever happens is offsetting the bloodline, and Cody beats Roman on his own merits.
I still think it waters down the win.
I do too, but I'm just saying, I think if they are going to go that route, it probably would be on I don't know. I mean, it's I think maybe the first one, the tag match is probably the better option just because it is a tag match. There are some stakes involved, but not like a 14 or 1300 plus day title reign at stake. So I think we might get something like that in one of the two matches.
Possibility. There's a possibility. All right. And then probably I mean, I can't say probably the hottest. I mean, another hot segment they have. CM Punk is in Chicago. He is live and in living color. And man, this exchange, Rollins, Punk, and McIntyre, this was before we get into the details, because I wrote things down. This how hot was this segment?
I mean, I thought it was a fantastic segment, one of the best talking segments they've had in a while. There's reports that, it wasn't fully scripted. They just kind of went out there and did their stuff. And I mean, you can definitely tell there was some things that were said that you would maybe think they wouldn't say, get authorized by the writers, like especially like the Vince McMahon reference on the show that was like, oh, okay. I didn't expect it's CM Punk. What can you expect? He'll probably say whatever comes to his mind, but there was definitely some things in there that were said that kind of cut a little too close to home, but it was all in character. It wasn't like the meta stuff of, oh my gosh, you're getting bookings and I'm not getting my opportunity. They're just talking crap back and forth, and everything that they said would be like if it was a real sports like competition.
Competition's real backstage, man. You're all fighting for spots. Don't start that now. But yeah, man, it was fun. It was exciting. It was riveting. I mean, I just you loved it. So here, let's get into these notes, man. Let's see. Punk Punk made he talked about a lot of things. He mentioned The Rock. He says The Rock hasn't mentioned him because his arms are just too short to box with God, a reference to, the promo they had back in the day when Punk was WWE champion. Punk, to McIntyre, are you a Scottish psychopath or are you a Scottish psychopath on a kilt, or are you an internet troll in a skirt? McIntyre is 2024. You don't want to get canceled for talk like that. Punk told him he never had to put another man's name on a t-shirt to sell it. McIntyre, you never drink, you never do drugs, but yet and still you spend all your time in rehab. Thought that was hella funny. Um, Punk, you're the chosen one. Who chose you? I dare you to say his name. What paragon of virtue of good virtue chose you? I was like, oh, that's the Vince reference. I'm like, oh, they're just going for this. Wow, this is fun. Rollins enters the chat and asks if or did Rollins ask if Punk was going to be a special referee, right? Or if they wanted him to be, right?
Yeah, and then Punk goes down and counts it with his left hand.
Yeah. Uh, Punk says he can't be objective with these two dicks. I was like, oh, okay. Then McIntyre's like, PG, brother. And Rollins, you narrating my finest moment is the closest you're ever going to get to a world championship ever again. And then Punk, he just says, I'm going to do something, and that's gonna. He just said things to them individually, like basically said his commentary is going to make them both interesting. I like how he said, like to Rollins, basically my commentary is going to make you interesting. Something that the shiny clothes, the heels, the championship your wife has never done. I was just like, wow, this is good stuff.
Yeah, and I think, we've talked about Punk being a special referee, but looking back, he does kind of offer more to the match itself as a commentator. Now, maybe he will go into business for himself and he'll just kind of try to pop himself and say some things. But I think him trying to build a match with whoever is the winner of this, because presumably when Punk is healthy, he'll probably wrestle probably both these guys. So I think him offering his words during the match instead of just, some physical stuff, limited physical stuff with his tricep is probably a better option.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Becky Dex Dom Dom. Then that leads to Becky and Rhea getting a little physical. Thoughts?
I thought it was a good dynamic between the two, and then when after Rhea, said the whole she'll be Becky's kid's mommy, then Becky, she had kind of the appropriate response, but I think it kind of crossed the line of a little too over dramatic and kind of seemed a little like fake acting. But I did kind of like the the toying of, mommy and like her sexuality and kind of everything that she's been doing recently and kind of how Becky says she doesn't do that. If this was like 20 something years ago, like ruthless aggression, attitude era, they would have gone like a whole different direction of just like, calling each other bitches and other profane words, women will call other women. They did do that, which is like, and it made sense. And it was like an appropriate story to be told on a wrestling show between two women talking about how maybe one of them uses their looks to get, some reaction from the crowd.
Wow. You said other profane words. That's probably the most profane one you could use.
Trying to hold myself back, trying to be respectful around here.
But you used the most profane one.
Which one did I say? I already forgot.
Bitch.
Well, I mean, we get like one bitch every single like show on Raw. It's fine.
We're getting people saying asshole, dick. What's going on? Andrade El Idolo defeats Giovanni Vinci. New finisher for Andrade. Love the match. What'd you think?
Yeah, good match. Just continuing to slowly reintroduce Andrade. I wonder if it's going to be like AEW. He just kind of shows up, has a match every now and then, maybe a little bit of storyline, but he never really goes anywhere. But I have faith that WWE will do something with him.
I think everybody's getting like the new stories will start, after WrestleMania. We're just kind of in the swing of things right now. Ricochet defeated JD McDonough. Canadian Destroyer looked dope. I mean, looked completely caught off guard. You love to see things like that.
Yeah, I mean, really good match between two guys who can work. They're not like in the position to be like a top act by any means, but they're continuing to tell a story with Judgment Day and JD. And I wonder how many more times he can just lose before the Judgment Day has enough of him. So, or he's just like the designated job guy and he just loses all the matches and they'll get angry at him in the moment and then they'll just keep him in the group.
Yep. AEW Dynamite Ospreay defeated Shibata. How was that?
Fantastic match, as you'd expect between these two. Osprey, leaning, not doing as much high flying stuff as maybe he doing some other matches. Kind of wrestling Shibata's style, a lot of hard hitting action, a lot of kicks, a lot of strikes, and things like that. And it was a hot start to the show in Quebec City. Crowd was okay for a Canadian crowd. I'll let it slide. We have 2 weeks back to back AEW been in Canada.
Was it full? Was it full again?
Probably was not as full as Toronto. Looked decent. I didn't see the WrestleTick numbers.
Was Edge on this show? Could he run to both sides?
Edge was on the show and doing a promo, which I thought was a good promo. He kind of was like, "Okay, I'm done with Christian. We're gonna move on." He's doing the Cope Open. Whatever. He's doing an open challenge.
The Cope Open.
Good enough. Let's see.
I like the Copeland Open. I like that one.
WrestleTick said that they sold around 4,000 tickets, which
that is not a full house. Never mind.
Not a full house at all.
Wow, no Danny Tanner. All right, moving on. The Young Bucks and the best friends are still employed by this company?
Yes, they are not the original best friends because Chucky T is out with injury, but Orange Cassidy and Trent win the match and they advance. And Young Bucks and best friends are going to face each other in the semifinals. So
for the tag titles. When they had that parking lot brawl, best friends and Proud and Powerful, that was the time to put the titles on both of those teams. Like they could have traded them back and forth. Could you imagine like the tag titles changing hands in that parking brawl? Would have been good stuff.
Yeah, I mean matches they were fine. It was kind of awkward because I do not think Okada was on the show, but they kept like panning back to him, like watching the match. And it was just kind of obvious that he wasn't there. But I thought they did the same thing with Joe later on, but he cut a promo with Renee, unless Renee brought the same pair of clothes the week before. So I don't know if they thought that far ahead, but yeah. The tag tournament, I don't think it has that much juice to it, to be honest. Like they're fine matches, and then maybe the final is going to take place at Dynasty in a month, and yeah, it is what it is.
I'm excited.
I know.
Willow was the number one contender to the TBS title.
Yeah, four-way match with her, Chris, Sky Blue, and I'm forgetting the final competitor. Apologies. But whatchamacallit, Mercedes Moné was on commentary. She added not a lot, to be honest, to the match, and Willow gets the win. So Willow and oh my goodness, I am just all over the place right now. Who's the TBS champion right now? Julia Hart. Thank you very much, Philip, for your help.
Yeah, Chris
Sh
Statlander, Sky Blue, Anna Jay, and
Anna Jay, that was the one I was forgetting.
Anna Jay and Willow Nightingale, Sky Blue. Okay.
But yeah, so Julia Hart and Willow going one-on-one
The
at
Young Bucks beat
Dynasty.
Private Party.
Yes, they did. Got to get their win back, brother.
What the hell? Okay, and then so you hold okay,
Time out.
hold on. The best friends beat the Undisputed Kingdom.
Correct.
So they're the Ring of Honor tag champions, right? Yeah. They're involved in this whole MJF Adam Cole story. And they're not winning. Like, what are we doing? Oh, Jesus.
But according to the internet, MJF isn't with the company anymore because his like merch isn't being sold or something like that. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that's the same thing that happened when he went radio silent for a summer. Like, stop. Let's stop. Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean,
They do good things like last week, and then here we are.
I think, I mean, I agree. The whole, you have the Ring of Honor tag champions losing an opening match. Also, you had the Young Bucks match was first and they won. So then it kind of gave it away that it was going to be best friends to win their match because you're not going to get a Young Bucks. You're not going to get a double heel match in there. So I thought that was also kind of dumb booking, to be honest. So yeah, like I said, tag tournament is not exactly inspiring right now. And also, like I know Moxley is out. He's like on vacation or something. You know, good for him. But you have him and Claudio not in the tournament, even though they beat FTR, but yet FTR's in the tournament. And then also like Takeshita was on this show, and this was like a pseudo number one contender match. It was more for Swerve, obviously, but like, why is Takeshita like wrestling this type of match when Osprey beat Takeshita? So, but the ratings are back. The rankings are back again for like the third time when they came
They
back.
are?
But then they came back and then they kind of like instantly went away. And then Tony Khan like tweeted out that the rankings are back or the rankings are out. I don't know. Anyways, speaking of Swerve and Takeshita.
Okay, hold on. When did Stokely Hathaway become Willow Nightingale's manager? When did this happen?
This has been a thing for a while. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's a while, but it's been maybe 2 months.
No,
more.
don't lie to me. No, there's no way. Jesus. You know, the Don Callis family still a thing. Gee, oh man, what has happened to this place? It looks like the only thing interesting about AEW is this Johnny and Taya little show that they got going on. Are you a fan of this show? Have you watched this?
Well, as someone who has not watched much Collision and Rampage recently, no, I have not.
Why not?
Because right now I just basically watch Dynamite and anything that stands out to me on Collision. Like I watched the Danielson match with Shibata, skimmed through a little bit of it, and that was about it. So
Swerve Strickland defeated Kanoshine Takeshita to become the number one contender to the AEW World Title, AEW Dynasty. Swerve versus Samoa Joe for the heavyweight title.
yeah, we get the one-on-one match between between Swerve and Joe. I think maybe this is where they pull the trigger if they're gonna pull the trigger on Swerve. He's cooled off a tad bit. Obviously since like Full Gear or like a couple months ago, when he was like really hot. So it kind of makes me wonder, do they maybe balk and have someone else, defeat Joe for it? But I at this point, I think you just give him the ball, see what he can do with it. I'm not, one to say everyone needs no, not everyone needs a title. But I think Swerve is kind of in that opportunity to where AEW needs a new spark, and maybe you can give it to him. I don't think he's like the answer to kind of all of AEW's woes, but there's a lot of things that needs to be figured out with that company. But I do think Swerve wins this match.
All righty, Rue. Well, that is going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Yeah, great week of action in the Bay Area. Got to meet Bull Nakano before she goes into the Hall of Fame. That was dope. Saw Medusa. Got to talk to her real quick with Baby Huey. That was great. Yeah, man. It's just it was a great week of wrestling out here, man. Shout out. The Bay is thriving right now. It's doing unbelievable things. Thank you guys so much. Next week we are the go home show to the biggest event in all of sports entertainment. WrestleMania 40, the granddaddy of them all, Philadelphia. You can't have WrestleMania in Philadelphia without Phil. Thank you guys very much. Be safe and stay dangerous.
Listen to us every time we live in the side. When you turn it on, it's just defining the mind. If you feel it, our opinions is great. When everything we moving now in the state, turn us on. If the feeling is right, every opinion now comes from the heart. No time we move with a part. We on the radio, it's wrestling. Time's aggression. Here is the feeling in the pool. Get the lesson. And if you want to prove it to you now, here's the feeling in the time and everything that we did.
This has been the Bullcast. Thank you for listening.